Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Litara White, as some of you know probably, or maybe don't, and maybe not, I don't know. If you don't know me, hi again, and I wanted to talk today about vulnerability. In my personal journey, I've been going through a lot of healing and unraveling of some deep ancestral and childhood trauma and wounding and many other issues that I realized throughout all my life have been conditioning me. They have conditioned me to believe that it's not safe to be vulnerable, and it's not safe, it's not okay to ask for help from people, from friends, from family, just in general from the world. When I was going through a tough situation or through a hard time as a human being on this planet Earth. And the journey hasn't been easy for me, and I hope that this message can inspire, some of you, if you're watching this and you're going through a difficult time as a multidimensional being on Earth, and even just as a human being, I wanted to let you know first and foremost that you're not alone. I realized that my conditioning, the limiting belief that was holding me hostage for many, many years, and that was kind of passed on to me, I believe, through my DNA from my ancestors, that whatever pain I feel inside, whatever difficulties and challenges of life I go through, I am supposed to handle it all by myself. That it's not okay by some reason to reach out for help, to open my heart actually to to the world, to be vulnerable and to admit that I failed at something or that I need help with something. It's surprisingly strong. The conditioning was in my subconscious mind and my body, I guess. I actually feel that this is in my body. And it was hard for me to release it, right away, and to even admit it to myself, first and foremost, because also we have a huge belief in society, in my opinion, that vulnerability is weakness, and it's not okay. It's not good to be weak in our society nowadays, which I've come to realize is complete BS. It's very distorted concept that doesn't help us at all as society, as civilization. I see how I myself and many people, have to close up. When they close our hearts, we close within, we build up these subconscious walls around us in order to protect us ourselves, as the mind tells us, because the conditioning. But in truth, I realize that what we do to ourselves by not allowing ourselves to be vulnerable is we are separating ourselves from the universe, from the world, from life itself, and from everything that life is, which is in essence unconditional love. The love that manifests all the help that we need, that comes through people's hearts, that can offer us help with our healing, with our journey, and everything that we go through. It's like it's help. This conditioning makes us believe that we are all alone, and I've believed that for many years. That conditioning made me believe it for many, many decades, and I haven't even realized until recently how much pressure, pain, and heaviness it creates within our bodies, our minds, and I would feel it as a heavy, heavy burden on my shoulders. The fact that I have to carry all of this pain and deal with all the, expressions of life, daily life as a human being, with all the, career, success, and achievements, and self-realization, and everything that we go through as human beings on our journey on this planet in 3D physical reality. It's not easy, and that's what I realized, that this conditioning goes against our nature. Our very essence is oneness. Our very essence is love. And we are all one, literally, on a quantum physical level. Every human being, we're all connected. We are part of this big, big network called life. And we're connected to nature. We're connected to the trees, to plants, to animals, to other planets. A lot of energies that make up what we call the universe. The divine, God, the source. We are all connected and one with the source. And what I realized, when we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable, when we fall into the illusion of this conditioning, of this limited belief that, the old system, the society used to bestow upon us and instill in our heads, we cannot fully receive, we cannot fully open to accept and receive all this limitless love, support, healing, and just the joy of life that represents, that is represented by nature, by other people. Our hearts get closed. And then when we close our hearts, because we believe that, oh, I am separate from this, I have to do it all alone, I am the only one that can deal with this, and I don't need anyone's help, and I cannot reach out for help, I cannot even share with anyone what I'm going through, because it might be seen as humiliating or embarrassing or shameful in our society. We separate ourselves from God. We separate ourselves from who we really are at essence, and we cannot receive the flow of life and love, which we really, really need to be fully healed and understand and realize that we were never actually separate from the divine. We are life itself, expressing herself through our body and everything that we are. So I know for me, it was creating this crazy closed circle. It's like I was suffering inside. That part of me, my inner child in my heart, was really, really longing for compassion, for love, for healing, for oneness, for this warm love coming from people's hearts that we call kindness, just human kindness. And at the same time, I was the only person that I wouldn't allow myself to reach out, to receive, to open the door for that love and healing and compassion to come through my body to my life, sometimes by just even talking to people, just sharing with my friends or family. Those basic things, I wouldn't allow myself even that to do, which was really, really hard. And I know for me, a few months ago, my body just collapsed. I went through a 5-day complete burnout when I would lie down on my bed and I was able just to cry and drink water. My body was shaking, and I would just scream out of release pain and cry and go to sleep and rinse and repeat for the next 5 days. And I felt at that time that there was a big, big purging. That was my body, my conditioning given out. I realized that I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't take any more of that pressure and that separation and that pain to handle by myself. And my body said, stop, this is it. Like, we gotta surrender, and we need to start opening up to the world and to the life force around me. And it was very powerful. And I realized, not only today and before, and I keep seeing confirmations in my own life, how being vulnerable and just being open about it, speaking up, reaching out to friends, to people, to professionals, in many cases, we need support and help of some specialists in some kind of area, healers, therapists, coaches, even sometimes reaching out to our family and just sharing, with our siblings what we go through, or just, admitting to someone else that, my day is not going well, instead of pretending that everything is fine, and just keeping a smile on my face when I don't want to smile. All I want to do is cry and lie down in my bed today, right? But then when someone asks me, how are you doing? I would just put on a mask. My ego was so afraid of admitting, of recognizing that I'm not okay, that I'm suffering inside, that a part of me was suffering, and my conditioned ego wouldn't just allow myself to admit and recognize in order to receive compassion, to receive help, and so on. So I just know how this is not easy, my friends, and it's kind of like an ongoing process, right? To share, to become vulnerable, to fall deeper and deeper into the embodiment of who we are in our true essence by becoming vulnerable, especially publicly, the way I'm gonna do it today, right? Going on YouTube. But that's what I realize. Vulnerability, in my opinion, is what makes us truly alive. Well, one of the energies, that one of our expressions that, in my view, makes us as human beings being fully alive is being vulnerable. Because then we fall back into our essence and our natural nature, who we are. Because vulnerability is the door to love. I think it's an expression of love to ourselves. It allows us to open up and receive the blessings and receive the love and energy and everything that we deserve just because we exist. All this unconditional love around us and within us cannot be accessed if we separate ourselves from it. I hope I'm making sense, you guys. I really, really feel that this is important, and I hope that this message will reach your hearts and will help you find the answers, the support, the healing, the love that you're seeking. And I would like to conclude with saying this: please do not close up internally within your walls. When you feel bad, when you feel tired, when you feel under pressure, when you feel like you want to speak to somebody or reach out or just cry or release, please do so. Try not to stop yourself and be aware that this is a big, big conditioning and it's not who you are. This is not who we are at essence. We were never created by the source, by the divine. We were never designed by nature to do it all alone in life. As human beings, as souls, it's an illusion, and it's destructive. I really saw in my life and other people, that I work with, how it really destroys ourselves from within. It creates a suffering, and it never ends until we actually start opening up. And I've realized, I'm seeing it now in my life, a lot of confirmations. Every time I'm being actually deeply vulnerable with somebody, just with a friend, if I talk or I reach out for help or I just express an emotion or, anything of that matter, people hear me. It's like we're reaching out from our soul, and when we're reaching out from our soul on the heart level, it automatically creates the same heart-centered response. And I realized that the biggest fear of my conditioned ego, hasn't been true. It hasn't, it hasn't been fulfilled, because my biggest fear was like, if I'm going to reach out, I'm going to be vulnerable, and I'm going to open up, I'm going to die, because my ego did not want to be seen as bad or weak or all of that, distorted programming that I had from the matrix and my subconscious mind. And I realized that this is just all an illusion. And because of all this, artificial illusions, I was suffering for years and years and years when I could have, just open my heart and be myself. Just be myself. Just follow the voice of my intuition and be vulnerable. And I realize now with my journey that vulnerability is one of our biggest strengths. And this is one of the greatest powers that gives us access to our limitless being and our divine, almightiness of who we are, our true essence. and it opens doors to miracles, in my view. So I wish you guys all to always be yourself and be vulnerable when you feel called to do so with whoever is in front of you. And it doesn't matter who that is, even if it's a stranger and you feel that you want to, you know, let go of a mask, and you feel like you want to reach out for help or ask a question or share something that is important. Do not be afraid of being seen as weak or a failure in that person's eyes, because this is not true. It's just not true. It's just a false idea of the matrix. And I really see how this is helping me and many other people. And I really believe that this return to vulnerability of our true authentic self-expression is this big part of our ascension as humankind, as the civilization. I believe that only through being totally vulnerable with ourselves and with the world, with the society, with other people in front of us, our family, it doesn't matter, with everyone. This is the only way to come back to our true essence and to get fully empowered and start creating a new society without judgment, without conditioning, without false limitations, a society that is based on oneness and unity consciousness instead of separation, division, and blaming each other, and duality, that something is bad and something is good. There is no such thing as good and bad, in my view. This is what I realized, I've come to realize. We just are the way we are. And the path to true self-love and unconditional love, and to building a new earth on our planet as a collective, starts with being vulnerable. Starts with opening our heart at our deepest levels and going within, jumping deeply within our hearts, within our essence, and accepting ourselves for who we are, and just loving ourselves for who we are, no matter what we go through, especially as human beings. Being vulnerable means being human, 100%. And I feel like that human element of us has been very much suppressed and ostracized and persecuted in our society by the old matrix. But that's another subject for another video. It's going to be an hour-long video. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. I really hope that this can help somebody to just start opening up and receive anything that you need right now on your journey. May this be my blessing to you, my friends, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. Do not be afraid to be yourself. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable. I love you all. Sending you a lot of hearts and joy and positive vibes and love from San Francisco Bay Area, California. I love you all. Remember that you are who you are, and this is beautiful. You are just beautiful. Yay! Goodbye. Mwah. Love you.